I think a lot of people have a perception that, right, narcissistic abuse and gaslighting is about how other people perceive us. Do you believe that, or do you think it's like a combo platter of it's obviously also about how we see ourselves, or we wouldn't be in that space? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think we teach other people how to view us. So it really comes to the same thing. If I see myself as totally unworthy and deserving of bad treatment, well, then that is how other people will perceive us, right? If we start saying, no, actually, I'm the sort of person who always get treated with the utmost kindness. If we start practicing that, I think that is how people will see us, and that is how they will treat us. So seeing us, treating us is very connected. And when we work on ourselves, it's not so that other people will. It's first of all, how we ourselves will relate to ourselves. And through our seeing ourselves in a favorable light, that will influence and that will inform how other people see us. You can just take the example of clothes, right? If I dress up as a businesswoman in a suit and everything, I might think that other people see me as a businesswoman, but it's really much more about how I myself feel in that setup of a business suit. How do I see myself? How do I feel myself? Because what we wear, we think it's for other people, but first of all, it's for ourselves, isn't it? It's really how we ourselves feel with those clothes on. So it's all about from the inside out, really. So I don't know whether you call that a combo, but it's first of all, seeing ourselves in how we want to see ourselves. And that will just automatically create how other people see us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I like your example of clothes, obviously. And yes, everyone has a different style. So we might not always like and what someone else is wearing. So absolutely, right. It does come back to like, well, how do I feel when I'm, wearing this? How confident do I feel, or what have you? I'm curious too, right, on gaslighting specifically, which is a term that's been coming out more and more these days in society, and we're really becoming more aware of when it happens to us. What would you think the impacts of gaslighting are on our self-image? Or
yeah, well, I can just speak for myself. I took many years to get out of it, right? Because I was only in that relationship for 4 years, and obviously it didn't start out as an abusive relationship, but it evolved into it. And the way I got into it was that I just moved to France, so I couldn't communicate with anybody. I spoke minimal French. I understood a little more than I could say, and I didn't have any friends, right? This was before the internet and everything, so you had to call people on the phone, and that was very expensive. And so I was very isolated. And then this person came along, right? So I was in a sort of vulnerable place where my self-image was very fragile. So I felt that having just emigrated to a new country, I was feeling confident and everything, but it only took that one person to come and take it all down, really. And he worked on that steadily for a number of years. And I think it took me at least as long, if not longer, to rebuild my self-image after that, because I had to go from being worthless to having self-worth, as you talked about. So when I was in the relationship and when I ended it, I thought, okay, so all our friends want to see me because they were seeing me, they were tolerating me because he was there, because he was the interesting person, right? He was the one that people wanted to be friends with. So obviously when we split up, I wouldn't have any friends anymore because, well, everybody would see him and not me. And that sort of thing really lasted for a very long time. So self-image, I mean, I didn't have any tools at all. I didn't know coaching. I didn't know self-help. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know I could work on my mindset. I could work on my ideas, my feelings, and all of that. And so it took a very long time. And this lack of self-worth, how I saw myself, really seeped into everything. I allowed myself to get fat, right? I allowed myself to not take care of myself and just make do. I allowed myself to become poor. Look, you know, it's so amazing how that self-image really can slip, if I can say it like that. It could just be completely destroyed. So I forget what your question was, but I mean, that was a lot about me.
Yeah, no, we were just talking about how gaslighting can impact one's self-image, right? What are the
Yeah.
damages it can do?
So my answer is really, it can impact your self-image to such an extent that it impacts all areas of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if you are suffering from that right now, not you, Andy, but our audience, maybe there's just one area in your life where you're still managing to keep your self-worth. It could be at work. Maybe you're still a very efficient and very well-loved colleague. But maybe in other areas of your life, you're suffering from this. And there's really no telling in what areas this is impacting you. But I would like to invite you to think about, really, if I just play with the idea that this is impacting me everywhere, in all my relationships, in all my work and personal life, how can I see the signs of that? Where is it that I can pinpoint, oh, I'm not feeling good here. I'm not feeling good about myself. I'm not seeing myself as worthy. Where is that? And then link that back to the abusive relationship, the gaslighting that you are suffering from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like that you took a look at, right, maybe there's one area of your life that you're really like, right, you've got it, you know, you're doing really well, and we all have strong suits in areas that we do thrive in easier than other areas, right? So that's a good thing to kind of look at, like, how am I being? And maybe you're great with finances or something like that. So how am I being here? And why is it that I feel so worthy of, right, abundance, but over here in my relationships, I don't. So I love that. I'm also curious, right. In gaslighting, often we stop trusting ourselves or start doubting ourselves, obviously, especially if it happened when we were young. You know, a lot of people dealt with narcissistic parents or really unhealthy childhoods and really never learned to trust themselves. Any thoughts for people on who just always doubt themselves, don't trust themselves, on how to cultivate that self-trust?
Yeah, that is a gorgeous question. And I really know what I'm talking about, because in my career as a musician, with this relationship, it really influenced me in such a profound way that I thought, well, how can I be on stage and attempt to entertain people when I am so bad, right? So the way to start building up your trust in yourself is just in tiny little things. And I always find it so enlightening to start promising yourself something and then delivering. So when you promise yourself something and you keep that promise, then you can start building trust. So they could be tiny things. I could tell myself, on Friday evening, I will have a long bath and I will light candles, and that will be my gift to myself. So I will do this no matter what. So when you become a little bit intentional about it, then you can start feeling the full benefit of it. So on the Friday night, when you have your bath and all the lit candles, really soak it in and really thank yourself for gifting that to you and for keeping that promise. So up to you to see what you can promise yourself. It has to be a little bit difficult, right? It can't just be, oh, I will eat tomorrow, right? It has to be something that stretches you a little bit so that you can feel, oh, actually, I'm worthy of that. Actually, I'm worthy of having a nice hot bath. Actually, I'm worthy of going out to the cinema. I'm worthy of having a dinner with a friend. I'm worthy of these things, and really do that intentionally and soak up all the pleasure that there is to be had in that moment. So that will inform your self-image, and that you see, oh, I'm the sort of person who can have long, delicious hot baths for no reason other that I want it. I'm the sort of person who can take herself to the cinema. I'm the sort of person who can have dinner with a friend in a restaurant. And maybe you want to go to a fancy restaurant, right? Maybe you want to up your game here a little bit. So it's really important that you follow through, that you don't let yourself down. So you start trusting yourself. And that was what I was talking about at the beginning, Andy, when I said there's so many tangible things we can work on to help us with our self-image. Because when you start seeing, oh, I went to a fancy restaurant with a friend and I refused a table in the corner, I got the good table at the window, I'm the sort of person who gets that. Well, then you can start really changing your mindset through what is happening in real life. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great example. I love that. Yes. Just little things that we can commit to for ourselves so that when we follow through, we're building that trust muscle. I think that's a great example.